Now, look, here's the thing. Last week, we did our first Clueless Gamer in 2 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. Not dog years, 2 human years. 2 years. It's mind-blowing.
Wild.
It was really weird and wild and fun. It was really fun. The game was Biomutant. The celebrity was JB Smoove. And it's so funny because, like, Sonia, we have been doing this podcast now for quite a while, but we haven't done one since we haven't done a Clueless Gamer since we started this podcast, which is crazy to think about. Isn't that weird?
That is crazy to think about.
And
oh my gosh.
We did it at Largo in person, but I haven't seen Conan in person for a year.
Oh my God.
But, we did Biomutant, which was, the game is super fun. And, Clueless Gamer, it's a comedy bit, so I had played, they gave me the game beforehand. And so, I go through with 2 of our writers, Levi and Glenn, and we wrote a bunch of jokes and areas and stuff that would be good for Conan. And this was the kind of perfect game because, it's easy to play for him, which is good. So we can actually fight, which is great.
That is a huge achievement.
Huge achievement. The world is great. It's full of all these like mutated animals, which is beautiful comedy gold. For like a comedy bit, it's perfect. It looks insane. It's gorgeous, but it's a wild world. It's so hard, when you do something like a Call of Duty, or you do something like when we did Tomb Raider, it's hard when it's like human beings to make comedy out of that. We've done so many of these comedy bits that like.
But when they're mutant animals.
Well, yeah.
A little more to pull from. Any favorites?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that the great thing is there was this moment where, so there are these 4 world eaters in the game, and they're giant boss fights. And so we did a thing which is the Jumbo Puff, which is the first world eater you kind of come across, and we had them fight. And as I was playing Jumbo Puff for the first time, it's great because you're in this giant mech suit, so that's great. A lot of explosions and fun action, which is great.
Very
but
cool.
Then there's 3 kind of phases to this boss battle. And the third one is he eats you and you go down inside of him.
Oh my God.
And if you don't swim immediately to like the esophagus wall, he poops you out, which is hilarious, and then he sits on you and it's like hilarious. So right away I knew we had a great ender for the bit, because
Ender?
Well, it's good one. But that's always kind of the thing is like, how do we get the temperature to a boiling point for the actual game? So the comedy piece has a good ending. So I knew when I played the Jumbo Puff, we were in good hands. But
I was
really
going to
fun.
say that Jumbo Puff sounds delicious, but then everything that you just said changed my mind.
But it was great. And JB Smoove, aside from being just one of the funniest people alive and an amazing improviser, also like, the great thing about him is he plays games. He's been in Grand Theft Auto, and he's actually, so like these other Clueless Gamers we've done with like people like Kumail or Ron Funches who actually play games. It's so much easier because he's just doing the thing. So it's not me being like, okay, go left. Okay, do this. So JB was a real treat as well.
So we asked you guys to send a few questions in about the last Clueless Gamer, and we've got a bunch here. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So Shav Shahiro, I'm so sorry if I butchered that, but they asked, did Clonan...
Cloning. That's Conan's clone, for people who don't know. Yeah.
Did Conan have much of a say in the character creation in the last Clueless Gamer, or was that all JB?
Well, it's interesting. Like, again, I think, like, we're making, like, a piece of comedy. And to make that piece of comedy, I need to play a lot of the game. So I had to get far in the game with a certain character. So here's kind of a dirty secret just for our podcast listeners. They had fun talking about the character creator, which is, in Biomutant, very robust and very fun. But they had to pick the character that I originally created. So it matched later. So the footage matches. We did that in Skyrim too. I personally had played a Khajiit, who's like a cat race in Skyrim. So when we were doing the character creator part in Skyrim as well, jokes, but then he needs to land on a certain character.
So you are the man behind the character creation.
I'm really a boy. I'm not really a man.
You are the bouncing baby boy
I'm the
behind the character creation.
Yeah. So they do all their comedy, but then I did have to have them land on I think it was the Hyla character because it was the toughest because I knew Conan would get beat up a lot, so I chose that race, that mutant.
I love these. I love the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I love the behind the scenes. Nolan Y wants to know, are there any games that Conan was surprisingly adept at?
No. Next question.
Not one? Not a single? No?
No, he's terrible.
Oh, okay. All right.
Even when we did Arms with Will Arnett, which is all motion tracking of him punching, he was still terrible. You can't do it. He's
Maybe one day. Ashwin Shaji, again, I'm so sorry if I've butchered that, but they would like to know favorite game that Aaron has played with Conan.
I'm trying to think of the one I got beat up the least.
The one where you've endured the least abuse.
There was one where he smashed 3 chairs on me in succession, so that would be the least.
That's your favorite. Uh-oh.
No. I honestly, I think, you know what, I'll say the next one. I think like every Clueless Gamer is fun in its own way and is tough in another way. But I think that this one was great because JB was great and the game was fun. But yeah, I think that's it. And this was great. And I have to say, like, in terms of shooting, like in terms of us actually filming this, like Conan and JB are so great together. And the fact that Biomutant, like the combat, it's very kind of easy to pick up. So that made it a fun one to do with Conan. Like people always want like, oh, what about Dark Souls? I'm like, it's just gonna be Conan dying over and over and over. How can we make something funny out of that? But so this was really great.
I love that. So you have fun. You're into Biomutant.
It was really fun, and I'm really happy Clueless Gamer is back. And yeah, I'm excited to hopefully get another one on the books. So I have a couple ideas of ones that I think would be great for another one. And if you guys have ideas, tweet at us at Good Game Nice Try, or use the hashtag GGNT of games you think that would be fun for Clueless Gamer. Obviously, we all think Resident Evil Village would be fun. So yes, of course, I would love to try to do that one, but other games I might not know about or hear about, let us know.